And digital marketing is the newest and best way to reach and attract prospective customers to your business. Digital technologies consist of online channels, web, email, databases. Now, using e-commerce, social media marketing, content marketing, etc., millions of people are using the internet to search for products and services. Customers are online, others searching for businesses. Digital marketing makes it very easy for businesses to be found. Small and medium-scale businesses, entrepreneurs have successfully used online platforms in growing their businesses and attracting huge foreign direct investments. Companies like Jumia, Gigi, etc. have been able to attract investment and position themselves as leaders in their industries. Digital or online platforms will tackle the ease of doing business. That's according to experts, build confidence among international investors, open up more economic activities, create employment opportunities, and encourage a cashless economy. To discuss this, I have with me in the studio Chief Executive Officer of Studio 14, Tobi Oludayomi. Many thanks for your time on the program.
Thank you very much for inviting me.
Now let's begin with the benefits of digital markets to our economic development as a nation.
As we all know, digital entrepreneurship is a major job creator in the world, and especially in Nigeria. It is a powerful driver for economic growth. And since the digital revolution, there's been a boom in entrepreneurship. Advancements in technology has transformed the way businesses operate, and the internet as a whole has just opened up a new playing field and created a global community. Digital products have helped bring industries out of the Stone Age. For example, there's a company called Farm Crowdy. I'm not sure if you heard of it. They are basically disrupting the agricultural industry sector. So basically how they work is, regardless of where I am in the world, I can tap my phone and invest in a farm somewhere in Nigeria. So obviously this investment, this money has helped the farmers grow their crops, buy their products, and eventually sell on their products. So from that, they create jobs, and jobs develops the economy. So yes, definitely digital is a big benefit for the economic development.
Now you mentioned companies stuck in the Stone Age. Toys R Us, shutting down some stores recently. Do you think that happened to the company? Because that's a speculation. You were left behind by technology.
Yes, they were. My nephew, he's 2 years old. Every time he comes to my house, he's always on his phone, always watching YouTube videos. So toys, to him, he doesn't really, the children of today are not really into toys anymore. So they want to see things on the phones, they want to see things on the application, they want to play games. And I think because of that, because of the advancements in technology, toys and Toys R Us and toy manufacturers are getting left behind. Same thing with Netflix, same thing with Blockbuster. So these companies, if you don't adapt and you don't change and you don't go with the times, you will get extinct.
Well, I mean, children still love toys.
They do.
Children, and it's far from, experts says, even healthier than staying on your phones for so long.
Yeah, 100% it is. Yeah.
Well, but let's not go into that. Let's talk about how do you compare Nigerians and how much they've accepted digital marketing to you're coming from the UK. Can you compare this?
To be fair, the size of the country, the penetration is actually a lot more than it is in the UK. So mobile devices, internet connections, they are very, they have been widely accepted in Nigeria. But I think it's just infrastructure issues that make it harder for companies to use digital means a lot more. So for example, we've had issues with internet for the last few days, and you wouldn't have an issue like that in the United Kingdom. And if you did, it would be sorted out as soon as possible. But they are accepting towards it, but it's just infrastructure issues that allow it, or that make it harder for companies in Nigeria to move with the times.
So you're saying Nigeria is doing well, but not as much because of the limitations of electricity?
We are doing the best we can, and there's a lot of companies who are trying to solve these problems. Well, it's a big market, and it would take quite a lot to fix.
I don't know how long you've been in Nigeria, but let's talk about entrepreneurs in Nigeria who have really taken advantage of these, who have done very well for themselves. What comes to mind? What companies come to mind? Or what entrepreneurs come to mind?
The one I mentioned earlier, Farm Crowdy, they're doing quite well. there's a company, they basically call the Netflix of Nigeria. Is it Iroko?
Yeah,
so
Iroko brand.
they're doing white as well. There's a lot of organizations who are tapping into the talent that Nigeria has to offer. Andela, they're an organization, basically they train developers in the UK and then export them out to companies in America. So basically the same business model as India had about 10, 15 years ago, because the time zone is the same as the UK and the Western world. Currency obviously is in their favor in the Western world, so it's cheaper for them. We have the brain power in Nigeria to be able to compete with anybody in the world in terms of technology and the actual human people capacity, and then obviously the flight distance. So it's 6 hours to get to the UK. So a lot of people now are outsourcing from the likes of the UK and America to Nigerian developers, which is a lot cheaper for them. So yeah, these are companies who are taking advantages of the digital economy and trying to make a name for themselves.
And do you think Nigerians, in terms of capacity, are they ready for these? Are they trained for these? Before the show started, you talked about developing Nigerians, helping many Nigerians become better at taking advantage of technology for businesses.
One thing about us Nigerians, we have some brain power, as in we know how to learn. So it's just the educational systems and allowing that educational system to move with the times and teach a bit more technological curriculum. So basically what we decided to do, we launched an initiative called Tech Hut. Because when we first came in to the country to open up our office, we found it quite hard to get the talent at the high level that we wanted to. We had to go through a lot of applicants and only managed to hire 3 out of those. So we feel if we can get in there early, so basically the initiative is we go to schools and do a full-day workshop and just try to get the kids to understand the different careers that they can possibly get when they finish university, what the actual digital industry means, because there's a lot of taboo or cloud around it. Nobody actually knows what people do within the industry. So we try and break it down and then we just give them challenges for them to solve. So everyday problems within Nigeria and how they can use technology to solve it. And you will be surprised. We went to school yesterday and the group, I think they're called the Raptors because we make them name their groups. One of their solutions was to have drones, solar powered drones across Lagos State. And these drones allowed the government to see traffic updates. So if there was a fire or if there was need for emergency services, the drones would tell the emergency services where to go and how to get to where they need to as quick as possible. So these are 13-year-old kids coming up with these ideas. So imagine by the time they get to 21, 22, they could develop things that will change Nigeria as a whole.
So what schools exactly? Are you talking about public schools, government schools, or really
everything.
Private schools?
No, we've literally tried to go. Funny enough, when we first came, a lot of schools didn't believe that we were trying to offer something for free.
For free.
Yeah, it was weird, but a lot of them are coming on board now. The one we went to yesterday was private, but we've spoken to the Ministry of Education. It's taken a bit longer than we thought, but most of the schools we've been to at the moment are private schools. But we are open, we want to go to everywhere and try and help as many kids as possible.
So you're also saying there's a bottleneck in Nigeria reaching private schools with skills for free?
I was shocked myself. As in, we said to them, this is a free initiative. They said, some of them didn't even get back to us. Some said, are you sure? Some said, well, what's in it for you? And we're like, we just want to help make the future better for the children and Nigeria. I think as schools see the benefit and as the word is going around, people are coming to us now.
Unbelievable to hear. I'm sure Nigerians are watching to hear that people have skills for free for some Nigerians in government schools, but it's difficult to reach them. I'm sure they're listening and they've just heard that from you. You're watching Business Nigeria. We'll be back with more. Stay with us. You're watching TVC News and the show is Business Nigeria. I have with me the Chief Executive Officer of Studio 14, Tobi Oludayomi in the studios. We're talking about digital development, digital marketing and the challenges. Now let's talk about the challenges you've faced so far in Nigeria as a business.
They're pretty basic actually. So the main one, like I said earlier on, was talent. They are there, but our standards are a bit high. So it was quite a struggle trying to get the right talent, and the state we were in, we didn't want to have to train people. So if you have enough time or you have the budget or whatever situation you are and you're willing to give a little bit of training, then it's perfect. But we had a product that needed to be out ASAP, so we wanted people who could just dive in and finding people who could just dive in was pretty difficult. We had to use so many different recruitment agencies, spread the word out in so many different places, but talent was a major issue, hence why we decided to start Tech Hub. And then this infrastructure, specifically internet, I don't know why that is. I don't know, maybe it's the location of the office, but we've had to go through 3 or 4 different providers to get a stable connection. And obviously what we do, internet is paramount, as in, because we have a remote team and a team based in London and clients based around the world, so we have to be able to communicate with them over video conferences and things like that. So those are the 2 major
to you, because you're probably coming from somewhere. Maybe you have lots of money, but for Nigerians, many startups in Nigeria, like yourself, many Nigerians who want to do what you are doing, they can't afford, you know, power. They can't afford what you can afford, and you call those basic.
That's true.
Yeah, well,
that's true. But no, nowadays though, there are some co-working spaces. Co-working spaces are really good for entrepreneurs who want to start out. So they're quite cheap, so they can charge you on a daily rate or on a monthly rate. So it depends on your budget, and they come with everything from electricity, internet, a space. And literally, it's the perfect environment for you to go and work. So those companies are trying to help entrepreneurs who are willing to start out. Yeah, definitely. So there are things in there.
Now, what are the challenges digital marketers face all over the world and Nigeria? We know about security, cybersecurity, and the laws, you know, that guide them. What more can you tell us?
In Nigeria, we have an issue with data, so we can't always analyze the effects of the campaigns or the marketing strategies, and because data is not as reliable as it is in the Western world, sometimes it's a hit and miss. So for instance, let's say we want to do a campaign for women aged 15 to 25 or something. Getting that raw data might not, it says this, but it's probably not that. And by the time you put a campaign on top, the results will not match what the initial data was. So data is a real problem, and it's a major problem in Nigeria in terms of digital marketers. And some companies are trying to fix it. There are some data analytics companies that are trying to source the data and aggregate data from different platforms and put it through like a data engine or a bank and get accurate data that they can sell to companies. So there are people there who are trying to fix that.
Okay, we'll just have to end it here. Oludayomi, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you very much for inviting me.
Broadcast.